To Enchanted Empath, a podcast for your soul. I'm Charlene Murphy, intuitive empath and soul coach, on a mission to awaken you to your amazing inner brilliance that knows how to heal itself, heal its body, heal yourself, manifest anything, and create a life you love. And so, because manifestation is a big part of my offerings in my services in my repertoire here in my practice, that's the word I was looking for. We're going to be focusing today on manifesting 101. Um, these are the things that I take for granted that I don't teach much. Um, and I think I need to go back and do a little refresher so that we can just all be in the know about the right ways, the wrong ways, the mistakes, the things that block us, all of that stuff, just so that we can get into the flow of manifesting with grace, ease, and fun. Manifesting to me is so fun. It's like my Disneyland. And so I want to share with you how amazing it is, and how much fun it is. And when you're doing it on purpose and when you're really in tune with the magic of the universe, how simple it is. And then you just want to do it again and again and again as you start to see the successes and you start to see your results show up. So, as always, I have my notes here. I want to make sure that I cover all bases. Feel free to chime in, say hello as we go along. I'm sure you may have some questions or some past experiences that you'd like some clarification on, like, well, why did that go wrong? Or ask me. I'm a soul coach. Ask anything, and I will do my very best to answer your questions and give you good guidance. So the title of this Soulcast is The Art and Science of Manifesting, or Manifesting 101. So I wanted to talk about first the science and then the art of manifesting, okay? And then we're going to get into some steps and some things not to do, and then the things to do while you're waiting for your manifestation. That's important stuff. So let's go ahead and start with the science of manifesting. First of all, let's define manifesting. So my own definition is to bring a thought, idea, desire, or dream into physical form. So if you think about it, all things start in the imagination. All things start as an idea, and then they become manifested physically, right? So everything starts here. This is why I am such a fan and always talking about the imagination and how important an asset it is for us. It's like it is Disneyland. That is my Disneyland, my imagination. It is free. You can go there anytime. You can create anything. You can erase anything. You can do over. It's the wild west in there. So you can have a lot of fun. So a lot of my manifestations, and then of course, if you're part of the 10 at 10, my meditations that I do on Tuesdays are all about imaginations, is what I call them, but manifesting meditations and using our imaginations to create something, right? So we're going to do a lot more of that. So manifesting, again, to bring a thought, idea, desire, or dream into physical form. Sounds simple enough. And guess what? You do this all the time. You can't help but do it. This episode, though, is to help you do it more purposefully and with more direction, focus, and intention. But I have to tell you that you are manifesting. You are a manifesting machine. You have been since the day you were born, and you continue to be, because let's talk about the science of this. As you know, everything is energy. You are energy. You are thinking and believing and feeling, and these things are broadcast from your body. So you are transmitting thoughts, feelings, desires, this energetic broadcast that is happening all the time. 100% of the time. Even when you're sleeping. So we can leverage sleep. We can do all kinds of fun stuff to increase our abilities to manifest. And so as this manifesting machine that you are, you you can actually just direct it better and do things with more intention. So let's talk about, yes, the human beings being those live transmitters and receivers of energy. And that energy goes places. And if you're familiar with the work of Mike Dooley, he says thoughts become things. Totally believe that. Thoughts, feelings, ideas, they become things. And so when we're speaking, when we're feeling, when we're broadcasting, they're coming into form. Now, lucky for us, they don't manifest right away. That could be weird and a little strange. So we have this time to go back to the drawing room if we want to. We can redesign it. We can tweak our asking, right? We can clean up what needs to be cleaned up so that we can manifest well. I'm all about manifesting well. So if you think about, I'm big on the laws of the universe. Let's talk more science. Think about the law of gravity. Now, you don't understand gravity. I don't understand gravity, but every single one of us is very aware of the effects of gravity, right? We know that if we throw something up in the air, it's going to fall down. We know not to get too close to the edge of the cliff when we're on a hike because gravity will take us over if we lose our balance, right? And so we understand the effects of gravity, and so we navigate ourselves around it to even enjoy it or to at least not be hurt by it. And then other people take it to the next level and create airplanes and all kinds of different things that leverage the law of gravity to a really high degree, by creating something. And so that's what we're doing here. We're going to be taking this to a higher level of degree. We're not manifesting to avoid pain necessarily. We're here to create something great in our lives over and over and over because we can, because this is our natural way of being. We are wired for this. We do this all the time. So think of the law of attraction like gravity. The law of attraction is always working. Always, 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 just like gravity. We may not understand how it works, but we can see the effects. We can always see the effects. All we have to do is look around. And if we don't like what we see, we can switch it up and manifest something different. We have the power to change those things. So whatever it is that we're focused on is what is going to grow, right? And so, what do you want to grow? Or what would you like to not grow? It's good to know what you don't want as well so that you can create what you do want. So I'm not one of those people that say, oh, be careful of your every thought. You're going to manifest that. Well, I think it's mature and wise to know what we don't want and maybe just not dwell in it. We can just take note of it and go, yeah, that marriage kind of sucked. Didn't like that one. So, and I already went through the pain and the healing and all that good stuff. It's already done. It's behind me. So now I can say, okay, well, maybe don't want that, but what do I want instead? Oh, a healthy marriage with a partnership, blah, blah, blah. So we use the contrast of the things that we didn't like or didn't enjoy, maybe that did bring us pain, and we can transmute that. We can shift it. We can go to the other place and say, well, what would I like instead? And I think that's the marker of spiritual maturity, when we can take a negative and realize that it was here to maybe push us into a different direction that's more aligned with our true nature, aligned with our spirit, our soul's calling. And so when we do come to this level, we look at the things that did happen in the past or the painful experiences, and we know that they're here to serve us, right? So we don't have to run from them. We don't have to suffer from them for extended periods of time, but that's up to you. We all have the choice of how long we want to or need to or, you know, want to suffer. And then we can get on to the manifesting of the thing that is different, better, more improved, the evolution that comes out of the pain. So this is where we are. We are evolving, we are growing, changing, always improving, always learning, right? So this is our nature. Okay, so I think I covered enough of the science. I'm not a scientist, but we all know gravity, right? So I take a really simple concept and I try to compare it so that you can wrap your head around that and go, yeah, well, if gravity works like that and law of attraction is the same, then what would happen if I treated the law of attraction just like I treat gravity? We don't think twice about gravity. We know it's working on us. We may not be consciously aware of it all the time, but we know. And so, what if you had that same certainty about the law of attraction? Imagine that. Well, this is why I'm here. I'm here to help you have that same level of confidence and knowing in the law of attraction that you might have or do have in gravity or any of the other laws of the universe. That's another episode. So now I wanted to move and talk about the art of manifesting. Okay. So we know scientifically or energetically that the law of attraction is working 24/7. Period. I know that. I see it. It's to me, it's undisputable. It's fact in my reality. So the difference though is the art of manifesting because humans are involved. Anytime humans are involved, there's going to be some messiness, let's say, right? And so, yeah, the science of it might always be working, but we're the ones that are manifesting, and we are also very full of potentially limiting beliefs, fears. We're human. So we're going to have this cocktail of thoughts and emotions and past experiences and belief systems and religious thoughts and all kinds of fun stuff that contribute to the whole package that can take a clear and easy, scientifically proved situation and really muck it up. That's what humans are good for, right? So we're a mixed bag, and I'm not throwing us under the bus. It's how we are created, it's how we are wired. And so I think the big dance in this whole human experience is to really integrate that spirit side of ourselves, our soul, with our physical side. So I love both sides. They're very interesting. We are the only creatures, in the universe, or at least on our planet here, that can create, for instance. And that we have different faculties than the animals, and so we have freedom of choice, and we can create, we can do all kinds of fun stuff, and that can serve us, and a lot of times it can hurt us, right? So the art of manifesting, I think if I simplified it, it would just be asking good questions, and just being really in the driver's seat of asking, using that throat chakra, using that heart, allowing yourself to desire, not punishing yourself for wanting, or having all this crazy thinking about, well, if I'm desiring or thinking I should have it, that's saying that I don't have. Well, duh, you don't have it. That's why you want it, Why do we have to complicate all this stuff? It's pretty simple. So it's okay to desire. It's okay to want. That is how we're wired, and that's what evolves us. Without desire, we have no evolution. So, we have no change. So embrace desire is part of the art of manifesting, and then allowing the miracles to come through, allowing the manifestation to happen. That is a big part of the artistic process of manifesting. Just getting out of our own way and allowing the pleasure, allowing the joy, allowing the things, without criticism, without guilt, without all this other stuff that you see how we complicate it with all of the background noise that is happening in our brains and the stuff that we picked up as kids. So when we know better, we do better, right? According to Oprah. So when we can embrace the art of manifesting, we can do it better and better and better and just get really good at it. Really good at it. I don't want to say master, because I think that is too final. But it's an evolution. We're never finished. We're works in progress, and we get better and better and more refined as we go along. All right, hold on. I was talking to myself there for a sec. Let's get into the steps. Well, I have seen many spiritual guides and teachers talk about many, many, many steps in manifesting. I like to keep the steps pretty simple. And I'm a big fan of Abraham Hicks, as you can probably hear in my voice when I'm talking about the art of manifesting and allowing. So Abraham Hicks breaks it down pretty simply. It's ask, I think there's 3 steps: ask, believe, and receive. I have a couple more steps in there, but it's all along the same lines, and I do like to keep it really simple. So the first is definitely ask. Ask. How do we ask? We can ask with our voice. We can ask with our feeling. We can ask with a contrasting situation that we are not enjoying. We are asking all the time. We are, if you're aware of it or not, you're always asking. And so what I want to do is shift you out of an unconscious ask and put you into a conscious ask. This means we have to have awareness of our lives, and we have to have honesty about our lives, and where are we in relationship, where are we in our work, where are we in our career, our finances, all that stuff. So this takes radical awareness and honesty to assess the situation and go, yeah, you know what, this is not comfortable. I want savings. I want savings stashed, and I want to feel safe. And that means I don't feel safe, and that's okay. I'm not going to sit here and try to pretend I'm this perfect human and not have fears and not have desires. No, I'm going to get ahead of that, and I'm going to proactively manifest things that reduce those pain points and the fears and all of that. Okay, so what do I need to do? I need to manifest some savings. All right, how do I do that? I don't know the hows. That's a big one right there. We'll get into that. But that's what I'm going to manifest. I'm going to manifest a nest egg. Never had one of those before. What does that feel like, right? And so then, well, that opens a whole can of worms, but I want to go down the steps first before I get too in depth. So ask, and then a lot of, you can ask for your want, and then allow yourself the space to clarify as you go. So a lot of people get stuck with manifesting because they think that they have to be so super, super duper clear in what they want. Well, you don't necessarily have to be crystal clear. You have your desire, and you have your ask. And like I said, we have that buffer of time so that we can clarify as we go along. And we can actually even manifest that thing and then go, oh, return to sender, yuck. I forgot about this part or this piece. And so you don't know what you don't know. So go ahead and ask. And then you can modify, you can pivot, you can change. You can go to the I call it the whiteboard of your imagination, and you can either scrap it, erase it, and start over, or you can modify, erase this and add that. So there's no hard, fast, oh, I have to do this right. And I see people get so stuck in perfectionism with this that they get froze, and that's no fun. So manifesting is fun, and so we can just start where we are, and we can manifest, and we can pivot, and we can edit, and we can change, just like writing an essay or any kind of work of art that you're working on. You have, it's going to change form, it's going to morph into something different as you experience life. So just start where you are and ask from where you are, and don't worry about having the perfect ask, because guess what? The universe already hears you, whether you're speaking it or not. And then with your awareness, you can clean up and clarify as you go along, right? So be easy with this. The second step for me is to believe or know, like how I really know that the law of attraction works like gravity. I know it. I know it. I believe it in every fiber of my being. And so it's easy when you have that really strong sense of belief or knowing that the universe is always responding. That's what I'm going to tell Oprah when she asks me, what do you know for sure? I'm going to say, we live in a responsive universe. The universe is always responding to us, always. That is the definition of the law of attraction, right? So I know that, I believe that. And so that makes manifesting easier for me because I don't have any blockages about that. I don't have any doubts about that. I have seen it in my own life and in other people's lives, every day. And some manifestations, well, everybody's manifesting all the time. And so when I see people manifesting though on purpose, and then things, coming to light, it's still awe inspiring, and I'm like, oh, the universe is so awesome, it's so awesome. But I see it playing over in my life and other people's lives over and over all the time. And it's just, when you have that level of knowing, it's like you have broken through and you're on the other side of this stuff, and now you get to just play. That's where I want you to be. All right, so the next step for me is to receive. So, okay, we transmitted, and now it's time to receive. Hi, Elizabeth. Glad you're here. Feel free to ask questions if you have them, okay? So when we get into that receptive mode, it doesn't mean just sit there and wait for the thing to drop into your lap necessarily. Sometimes it does. Sometimes that's that easy that you ask and then boom, there it is. No kidding. Other times, though, it just depends on what your question is or what your ask is. You'll receive information and clues like breadcrumbs, right? And guidance and nudges and those hair pulls, I call them. And where you get your attention is just being led in a certain direction. It's like, oh, that's for me. All right, that information is for me. I'm going to do that because that's going to lead me to the next thing. I know it. I feel it. And so being receptive, not only to the manifestation, but to maybe the clues, the nudges, the things, the action steps, the stuff that needs to happen on your end to open up even more so to receive the manifestation or to help it along, because we are involved in the process as well, right? So the next one so part of that whole receiving, I have number 4 is follow the impulses. Follow those impulses, follow those nudges. They're speaking to you, they're guiding you all the time. So what I see is a lot of people manifesting, they throw it out there, they'll put in their orders to the universe, so to speak, and then they'll just wait and wait and wait. And that's fine. I have this other way of waiting. It's like waiting, okay, what do I need to do? Tell me what's next. Show me. I'm open and receptive to whatever needs to happen, or whatever messages you have. Oh, I need to clear up my thinking about men. Oh, before I can manifest a relationship. Psh, got it. All right. Better do some work. So we'll get these impulses, we'll get these ideas, we'll get these downloads, we'll get that. Well, you need to do whisper, whisper, you're not quite clear yet. Whatever the message is, or apply for that job, or oh, there's your person, go say hello, or so those impulses, follow them. They always lead to mecca, that it's the next step. um, and then the last and the most important step for manifesting for me is to keep your vibe high. And that is so important that I'm going to break that down and talk about that at the end of the Soulcast. Okay. And then Kristen. Hey Kristen, she has a question. Yes, hi. Yeah, I moved my configuration here, so now it's hard for me to see. How do you tell what is knowing versus thinking monkey mind? Okay, so that's a great question, and I have a good answer for this one. Um, when we're thinking, when we're in that monkey mind, it's to me, it feels like a very masculine energy. It's us trying to figure it out. We're ruminating, we're in our head. It's very clear that we're in our head, and maybe even doing a pros and cons list, and doing all that kind of masculine energy around problem solving. And there's a time and a place for all of that. I love it. I'm not throwing it under the bus. But when it comes to the knowing and manifesting, um, and receiving information from on high, I'll say, and that could be our high self, it could be our spirit guides. But the difference to me is, like, when I ask for something, um, and I don't necessarily have the clarity on it yet, I'll release it into the universe, just like what we're doing here with manifesting. We do release it. We play with it, but we mostly release it. And then when, say, you're driving, or you're washing dishes, or you're folding socks, or you're watching Bravo on TV, then all of a sudden, boom, this idea comes. This idea, it comes to us. It just comes to us. This is that guided um, information that comes not from the ruminating. And then, so that's one way, Kristen. And then how I want to back up and say, like, how I know about the law of attraction being akin to gravity. How do I know that? I just do. So there's sometimes you just can't explain how you know something, you just do. That's a crappy answer, isn't it? But it's like, it's just within this higher knowing that is in your body, in your spirit, in your soul. Like, we'll just get that real clear knowing. And especially the people who are claircognizance, and uh, um, the people who are very active in their crown chakra and their third eye, always receiving. So they have a really high mental acuity to begin with, great problem solvers, all of that. But they're also very connected to the information that is out there. And so when we embody it, when it comes to us, we just know it. We didn't ruminate it. We didn't force it. We didn't, is this, how we think things through. There's such a different energy from just knowing. And there are only a few things that I claim to know for sure. Living in a responsive universe is one of them, the law of attraction, most definitely. But then there's those knowings that happen throughout the day where you know that message is for me. Oh, that message was for me. And of course, I wanted to mention this for the science part, that part of our brain that is I didn't write this down, I didn't research it, but there's a part of our brain that when we ask questions, it just starts to look for the answer. It's not a conscious looking. It's a behind the scenes. It's one of our helping assets. It's so great. So it, what's it called? The RAS, the reticular something blah. Help me out there if you know the answer to that. But it really sets us up to filter out the noise that doesn't belong to us, and it opens up. It's almost like this light that shines on the thing that is for us. It's like, oh, I was looking for that. Oh, there you are. And guess what? A lot of times that stuff was there all along, but when we're ready to receive it, now we see it. And it goes along with that saying that, like when the student is ready, the teacher appears. It's that kind of magic of the universe. And that can be explained scientifically with that area of our brain as well. So, but I think it's all integrated. It's all part of the bigger system. Okay. I hope that made sense. Okay. Keep asking your questions though, and I'll do my best. All right, so we have the 5 steps down. So they are ask, believe, receive, follow those impulses, and keep your vibe high. Now let's talk about what not to do. All right, this is fun. We all do this. We're human, and so I'm not here to throw us under the bus. I'm here to improve our game so that we can do this better. Manifest well. Okay, what not to do? Keep asking or begging. That's number 1. If you keep on asking and keep on begging, then what does that mean? That's telling the universe that you don't believe this, that you don't even trust the process. And if that's your reality, if that's the truth, then you need to go back to the drawing board and do some work around that. Learn more, read more, get a good teacher, get a good coach. So something needs to help you get to the other side where you do trust the process, and get out of your head about it. And so that is a number 1. It's not to, I don't say don't keep asking and just keep your mouth shut. It's more of a state of belief. And if you don't believe it, then do some work around it, so that you can shift your vibration into alignment with the reality of it coming into your life. And so that means you may have to clean house a little bit. You may have to maybe go into therapy, maybe do some healing with your past, with your family. So if you don't believe it, you don't believe it. That's your reality. But you can help yourself so that you can get into a better receiving place, right? So those are clues. If you keep on asking, then you don't believe it. And so then the bigger question is, why don't I believe that I can have that, right? And so then that leads to more work. So number 2 of what not to do is keeping score. It reminds me of the Gardener card, the 8 of Pentacles in the tarot. I love that card. And it reminds me of the constant gardener. So once you ask and you keep on like digging up the seed that you planted in the garden, are you growing yet? Are you growing yet? Are you growing yet? You're messing up the process, and you're not trusting the process. So that whole keeping score, well, it's not here yet. He's not here yet. She's not there yet. The job's not here. I haven't done this yet. I'm still not married, all of that stuff and keeping score. Oh my goodness. And typically what I see is that when people are keeping score, they're keeping score based on cultural norms and societal norms, right? And mixed with a little personal impatience. And so a lot of times you're keeping score against something that isn't even real or isn't even yours. And it's like, well, society says that you should be married by the time you're 27 and a half, and I'm not. So says who? Keeping score against these rules that who made up? I don't know. So keeping score is a silly little blockage that I see. And it just reminds me of uh, Joel Osteen when he says, put your blinders on and run your own race. Just run your own race. This is your rodeo. So there is no score to keep. Um, and then with that garden, it's like trusting that if you planted that tomato seed, that you're not going to get an apricot tree, you're going to get a tomato plant, right? So really just kind of going back to science for me helps. And realizing that, gee, if I look out my front yard and I see my tree and I see all the other trees and the bushes and the birds and all this stuff that just works and that keep on growing year after year after year, it's like, really? You're not dead yet? Huh. And the birds know how to feed themselves and all that stuff. And I'm not doing it. And it just keeps on happening. That gives me a lot of proof that the universe knows what it's doing. And it's got some things in place that I don't have to worry about, right? Which brings me to number 3. Micromanaging. Micromanaging on the manifestation plane is a no. Let me say that again. No. So micromanaging can really throw the monkey wrench into the works of manifesting. And I've seen this a few times, where it's just not going fast enough for some people. So they're going to leverage it and they're going to go change something and they're just going to make it happen. And whoop, I've never seen anything good come of that. So micromanaging with manifesting is another, it's all based in ego. It's all based in me taking control and power over the situation, not trusting the universe at all. And left to our own human devices, that is a recipe for disaster, right? So when we manifest, we really need to cultivate some patience and understand divine timing and understand that there's so much stuff at play here behind the scenes that we aren't even privy to. And so that, like, for example, you want to manifest that relationship, but you haven't met your person yet. And you're like, where is he? Where is he? Where is he? And there's that law of gestation or divine timing that is also happening behind the scenes, where maybe he has to clean up some stuff in his life before he can show up in yours. And so, but this, you don't see it, you don't know it. And so then you become impatient and then you want to make it happen and change things. And so really understanding that there's a lot going on behind the scenes, right? And so, for example, when I manifested this place, I really knew that and I took it into consideration. And so that was a part of my mantra when I said, I can't wait for my ideal home. I'm so excited that they're getting ready for me. I'm so excited that the old tenants are moving out and finding their ideal home, and I'll be moving in, and this perfect divine timing that is happening and the synchronistic magic that is going on, and everybody wins, and boom, it does. And so, but we really do have to have that patience and insight and ability to step out of the scene and situation and let the universe do its job, and all of the helpers that are included in the process as well. Okay, another question here. How can we tell when we are blocking a manifestation? How can we tell when we're blocking? Well, when we're doing all of these things or we're ruminating too much. And so if we feel that we're blocking a manifestation and it's not showing up for us, what we can do is just pivot, So I talk about manifesting being a fun activity. It really is. And so if we don't see what's happening, and it's not happening fast enough, then we can just pivot, and we can either play along and say, okay, divine timing, what, You know, I trust whatever is happening behind the scenes that has to happen in order for this to come through. Anything I need to do, throw me a sign, let me know. So I'm always in concert with my guides when I'm manifesting, as well. And I think that that makes it helpful, because then I feel like I am a participant. I am a participant. Tell me what I need to do. Show me if there's anything that needs to happen on my end. I'm open, and if not, cool. I'll just keep waiting patiently. Um, but sometimes we can feel that we're blocking something just based on the results that we're getting, and and that's okay. Um, we can recalibrate, we can pivot, we can change, we can just go back to the drawing board and start all over if we want to, right? But a lot of times we'll feel it in our solar plexus. We'll feel it if we're blocking something as well, because we feel crappy, we feel resistance in our bodies. We feel our bodies are the best indicator of how we're doing at any given time. And so whenever we feel resistance in our body or in our mind about something, we know that we're doing something that could be blocking it. And then that's when I say reset, reboot. Don't take this so seriously. It's all good. Go take a nap, you know, go have a beer, go do something different. And then we can recalibrate, because we're not going to be perfect. We're not going to be spot on 24/7. And I think, the Dalai Lama said, sleep is the highest form of meditation. It is. Sometimes, well, not sometimes. We all need a reboot. Every day we get an opportunity to reboot, and then we can recalibrate. And it's like, oh, okay. Oh, I was blocking myself there. But it's okay, because like I said, we have this buffer of time. And when we feel that we are blocking something, or we feel resistance, we can open that box and say, what is that? Oh yeah, when my mom said I wasn't worthy of blah 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 blah, that just got in my craw. And it's like, okay, so I need to do some forgiveness and healing on that part, and say hello to my little inner child. There's a lot of stuff involved here, is what I'm saying. So being receptive, number 3 on the list, or was it 4? Number 3, we have to be receptive. That whole receptivity is 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 paramount, because when we're receptive after the ask, and we're in the manifestation process for an intentional ask, then we're going to get some guidance. That's why I'm saying receptivity is so important, because so many people will just say, okay, manifest, and then wait. And then where is it? No, it's that we are a part of this process. So our guides and the universe is wise enough to say, we got your request, we hear you, but you haven't made room for that person yet. So make some room. So you'll just get these nudges and ideas, and that's the stuff that we need to do so that we can prepare ourselves for receiving whatever it is that we're wanting, right? So hopefully that answered your question. And then also number 4 on what not to do, this is something that I see happen quite a bit, is being attached to the who's or the how's of the manifest process. So, and a lot of people get very determined, adamant, obsessed with the who's and the how's. That is a definite blockage to a manifestation. Because once again, you're micromanaging. And again, to quote Mike Dooley, he says, the hows are the domain of the universe. The universe and our helpers are so much smarter, wiser, faster, brilliant. They have a wider perspective than we do. And we can't, when we attach ourselves to the how something is going to manifest, well, I said my request this day, I gave it 3 hours, and so it must be here tomorrow by UPS at 12, and it must be green. You know what I mean? We just get too bogged down in the how things are going to come. So I think, one of the things that I probably need to add to my list for the art of manifesting is to really, really approach it with very childlike eyes, very childlike wonder. And it reminds me of like when we were kids, or when I was a kid, and Christmas would roll around. I was certain that if I wrote my letter to Santa, that I was gonna get whatever it is that I asked for. I had that certainty. I had that knowing. I didn't care if I was blocking or gee, I asked for that green bike. Um, and that's pretty darn specific. I want that green bike, and and then I got a red one or whatever. Am I going to throw it out? No, I still got the thing that I really, really wanted, and then better, right? But I didn't. When we're kids, we don't block it. We just ask, and we're like excited, and we can't wait, and we act as if it's like, I can't. Oh, and then I'm going to get those little things, those little tassel things, and stick them in my handlebars. It's going to be so cool, And so that's where we need to be. We need to just really have fun with this. Like, oh my gosh, I can't wait for my next relationship. I have done so much work around relationship and improving myself and being the partner that I want in return. Oh my gosh, I'm going to manifest this like gangbusters. This is going to be so fun. It's going to be the best relationship ever because I am bringing so much more to the table. And I know that my person is doing personal transformation work as well. And together, woo, it's going to be so awesome, right? So we just get into that place of playfulness and childlike wonder. And it's like, oh, what else can we manifest? This is so fun. This is so cool. And release ourselves to the who's and the hows. We don't know how. And then especially with relationship, we don't know the who, and I see people just get so minutely attached to that person. It must be that person. And it's like, well, let's blow that out a little bit. Let's open up the lens on the camera and look at that bigger. Why? Why do you want that person? What do you think that that's going to bring into your life? So again, this really comes back down to awareness of what we're wanting and why we're wanting it, right? And maybe it's not that specific person, but it's the qualities of that person. It's the things about that person, but I have to say, if you don't already have that person, there's some answers in there. And so you might want to pull it out and look at the whole attachment thing. That's a whole nother topic. Okay, so attachment to the who's of the hows, domain of the universe. So sometimes we keep it more general as to the characteristics of the things that we're wanting. Some things are specific, jobs, how, that's still not even specific. But keeping it general. So a lot of times when I'm doing my ask, I'll say, okay, I have my eye on this specific job. So I'll take that or better. That's something I learned back when I went to Science of Mind and Spirit or Agape International. So it's like, yeah, you can start with a specific, but then open it up and be general. It's like, or better, something that utilizes all my gifts. It gives me my freedom. So you focus on the qualities of things wanting to experience more so than the specific thing itself, right? Okay, now let's talk about while you wait. And I told you that number 5, keeping your vibe high, is probably the most important, it's probably the most important step in the 5 that I have. Keeping your vibe high. What does that mean? That means having that receptivity, right? It's like, oh, well, wait a minute. I asked for a relationship, but I kind of have this thought about online dating being really awful and blah, blah, blah. So I need to explore that. And keeping the vibe high is just being open and receptive to the things that are coming through and cleaning things up as they need to be cleaned up, because they will. things, when we ask for things, the universe is going to prepare us for it. And that a lot of times requires some house cleaning, housekeeping, and that's okay. That it's all good. So we're just going to keep open and receptive and keep the vibe high instead of throwing things under the bus or judging or just being really harsh on ourselves. So um, when we're in a higher vibration too is when we do manifest better, right? And so whatever it is that we're feeling, we are drawing to ourselves. So it's imperative for us just to be in a high vibration as much as we possibly can. And if we're not feeling in a high vibration, to really nurture ourselves and to get to the bottom of it and heal and ask, what do I need right now? You know, this isn't a game of squeezing charcoal until it turns into diamonds. It's a game of self-awareness. It's a game of self-love. It's a game of really listening and tuning into ourselves and taking all the bits and pieces, the light, the dark, the good, the bad, the spiritual, the human, and integrating it and playing with it and learning more and more about ourselves and improving upon ourselves as we go along. And that to me is really part of keeping the vibration high. It's not, ooh, unicorns and rainbows. It's, I'm doing better today than I was yesterday, and I feel good and I'm proud of myself. I love myself, and those kinds of things. So, and really having self-discovery moments and working on transformation, I think all the time is a part of keeping your vibration high, and the awareness of where do I still need to do some work. Oh, I need to clean up my diet, or whatever comes up for you, right? So keeping your vibe high, having fun, enjoying yourself, self-care, meditation, quieting your mind, really important stuff. Listening to good music is a good example. And cleaning up your limiting beliefs, your limiting thoughts, and knowing that sometimes people would get a little intimidated with requesting or asking for things, and they'll start small, and that's fine. If that's what you need to do so that you can believe it, great, do that. But I'm here to tell you, the universe size doesn't matter. It's all good. So you can go big, stay small. It's up to you, right? All right. Do you have tips for raising vibes when going through cycles of feeling down? Yes, Rochelle, we are always going to have cycles. We are cyclical beings. We kind of go by the moon, a lot of people would say, especially us women. And so I would say the first thing in keeping your vibe high or keeping it healthy, let's keep it healthy. I think sometimes high can be a stretch if we're not feeling great. So keeping it healthy or healthier is a step in the right direction, right? And so if you're not feeling great and you're at a low ebb, first of all, get into it. And if you feel safe enough, and then you can hire a coach if you need help, or a therapist, and unpack it. It's like, what's in there? How come? What is this? And is it recurring? Is it something that I haven't dealt with yet? Am I just really super empathic and I'm feeling the crap of everybody around me? Could be. But having that self-awareness so that you can work through it, you can heal it, nurture it, self-care it, take a nap, and reboot and get to the next phase. So we're not going to be vibing high 100% of the time. That is not realistic. It's not how we're wired. We are sentient beings. We feel, we are affected by people, places, and things around us, our own history, our own dramas, all that. So my first line of defense when it comes to improving your vibe, improving your mood, is self-love. Self-love. So nurture yourself. Sometimes when I'm feeling crappy, and I'm going to share this. Sometimes when I feel crappy, I will Netflix out, maybe drink some wine, Netflix, take a nap, reboot, whatever it takes, and maybe watch even something sad or something that will elicit emotions so that you can hopefully purge it out of your body sooner than later, right? But the whole thing is not to avoid it and to address it and to nurture it. And that, and knowing that there's a light at the end of that tunnel. That's first for me. I always know that if I'm feeling crappy and something really horrible is happening, I allow myself those feelings, but in the back of my mind, I know that this is temporary. I know it. That's another thing that I know. I know that everything is temporary. And so if I'm suffering right now, that doesn't mean that I'll be suffering tomorrow or the next day or a month from now, or but I'll allow myself that time. And so allowing your time to be in your feelings is a big part of self-love and self-care, right? It's like, oh, sweetie, you need a little break, you need a little TLC, and if there's nobody else around to give it to you, you got to give it to yourself. But you should give it to yourself anyway, regardless if there is anybody around. Okay, so let's talk about, okay, the while you wait, be gentle with yourself. I can't say that enough. You're only human. Be patient. Patience, grasshopper. Should have wore that shirt today. Patience. Patience is big. Humans, we want everything instant, fast. Give it to me now. It's like divine timing. Wait for it, wait for it, wait for it. In the meantime, go do something else, right? Oh yeah, I did mention earlier that you have to make room for it. So you said you wanted a relationship, but your bed is crammed up against the wall and there's only room for one person to get in there, or it's a twin, or, so do you have room? Do you have room for another person in your life? So these are some tangible feng shui kind of things that you can look at as well. And it's like, you ask for that job. Are you, do you have your first day's outfit? Act as if. Get ready, folks. Prepare the way. And I think I love feng shui because it's the energetic shifting of your space. So I do a lot of energetic shifting of your spirit, but feng shui is an energetic shifting of your space, and it all matters, right? So get ready, make room. Is there room for that job? Is there room for that person? Is there room in your garage for that new car? Fill in the blanks. Do you have space for it? If not, create it, right? Most important in all of this stuff is to have fun. And if it's not fun, don't do it. Put it away, and if you're like seeing results that aren't pleasing to you, go back to the drawing board and reinvent. We can change and reinvent and switch it up and pivot on a dime. We are not attached to anything, and we are always evolving and changing, and so our desires are going to change, and so we just roll with it, right? Another one, the last one actually for me, is to give thanks. Just give thanks, be grateful. And I talk about my spirit guides a lot, and I'm always just like, you guys are so amazing. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for the guidance. Thank you for that info. Thank you that I needed to clean that up first. Thank you that you're telling me that I need to make room, for X, Y, and Z to happen. So give thanks. And gratitude is one of the most instant ways to raise your vibration too, right? So even when we're not feeling great, we can be grateful. And when we find the things to be grateful for, thank you for my home, thank you for the safety and security of my home, then it automatically raises the vibration. And then the last thing is wash, rinse, and repeat. This stuff is so repeatable. Once you understand the concepts, once you understand your formula for this, and you start to see results, and you start to manifest results, you'll take note and you'll go, ooh, good job, that was easy, I'm good at this. And you'll get better and better and better, and just continue to do so. And I have to say though, I really want you to look into your past. I want you to take a few minutes today, hopefully, and watch the movie of your life. Just take a few minutes in a meditation and have the intention to see the magic that you've already manifested. It's like, oh, I've already been doing this. I am really good at manifesting. I was doing it kind of like haphazardly by the seat of my pants, but I did it, and it kept working. And wow, every time I asked for something, I got it. That's crazy, right? No, it's not crazy. It's the law. And so you can really remember how good you are at doing this already and how you already have. And now you can do it with more intention and focus and and purpose, and really manifest specifically and have so much fun with this. Okay. All right, guys. I have one more question, I think. Keeping the vibe healthy, love that distinction, but where you are, allow it and ride the wave until the next day or until the end of the cycle. Thank you so much. You're very, very welcome. And that's it. Ride the wave, girl. I love that analogy. So it's like, we know that we're going to have waves in our lives. And if we know that we're going to have waves in our lives, then when we have one, we're not going to be so shocked. We'll go, oh my gosh, there's a wave. Where's my surfboard? Okay, I'm gonna ride this puppy. I'm gonna ride this puppy until this cycle, until this wave comes to shore, because the wave always comes to shore every single time. So thanks for sharing that. That was awesome. All right, you guys, I think I'm gonna call it a day and let everybody go. Wait, there's another one. I took a lot of notes. This has been an absolutely wonderful presentation. Oh, you're welcome, Candy. I'm glad it's helpful to you. This stuff is fun. Remember, if you're getting too narrow, if it gives you a headache or anything, check it, wait, reboot, next, and just keep it light. Keep it light. This is fun, spiritual, light work. Or play, I should say. It's not even work. All right. So play, have fun with this. What would you like to manifest in your life? What would you like to change? What would you like to bring in? You can be, do, and have anything that your heart desires. Go get it. Go have it. Go allow it. Have fun with this. All right, guys, until next week, take excellent care of yourself and excellent care of your loved ones. All right. We'll see you next time. Peace out. Yep.